First question is for you, Peggy. Is John Fetterman being disrespectful? Oh, I read your piece on this, so I know the answer, but you can add being disrespectful. John Fetterman, who never wears pants, when he wears shorts, and even at the inauguration.
He showed up in the hoodie and the shorts.
Right. Should the Senate reinforce its dress code?
In a spirited exchange on overtime, Bill Maher and Peggy Noonan debated Senator John Fetterman's unconventional dress code. At the heart of the discussion was whether his trademark hoodie and shorts represented a refreshing move toward authenticity or a disregard for Senate tradition. Noonan, a firm believer in decorum, argued that public figures should uphold the dignity of the institutions they serve and that traditional attire reinforces respect for the Senate's values. Maher countered by questioning whether such expectations still matter in a time when voters increasingly value relatability over formality. Their dialogue reflected a broader cultural question. Is leadership still tied to appearances, or is the modern image of power shifting toward everyday authenticity?
Fetterman is a guy who's very independent, and he says some really funny things that capture a moment. When he went down, after Trump was elected, Fetterman, a Democrat, Pennsylvania, was invited down to Mar-a-Lago to meet with Donald Trump. None of the other Democrats were doing it. So Fetterman does it, and the press went into a tizzy, and somebody asked him, what are you going to say? What's going to happen? And Fetterman said, he's going to make me the Pope of Panama. And it was so funny.
It is.
And so unafraid. Right. So that's the fabulous side of Fetterman.
Right.
I believe that he's in a grown-up business, and he should be modeling for young men how we go forward in life. And
He's modeling shorts.
Yeah. But I do think, and on the floor of the Senate, the United States of America, he should be wearing it.
The conversation about Fetterman's attire goes beyond clothing. It reflects a deeper clash between old and new cultural values. To many, especially those who value tradition, his casual look feels out of step with the seriousness of the Senate. A suit and tie, in their view, signal respect for the role and the public. But to others, particularly those frustrated with political elitism, Fetterman's laid-back style feels genuine. It shows he's not trying to play the political game. For these supporters, his choice of clothing symbolizes a break from scripted behavior, suggesting he's focused more on connecting with everyday people than fitting into the mold of polished Washington insiders.
Trump pardoning the founder of Silk Road, the dark web trading site, which was dubbed the Amazon of drugs. Tell us what it is first. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, this is part of a bigger picture, which is the rise of crypto, which is the ultimate dark money. And the reason that crypto is now so popular is because we are now in a tech broocracy, right? This is where the super rich are going to run everything.
You write about this,
and
Silicon Valley. You don't trust them.
No.
No.
I mean, they're running everything, and they need a dark money way to pay for everything that nobody knows about, right? This is how geopolitics is going to be conducted. Certainly while Trump is in office. It's going to be conducted with Putin saying, well, listen, let's say if meme coin just happens to get $1 trillion, maybe Ukraine will happen to disappear. And that's what's going to happen. That's how these super rich are going to pay each other, and we will never know.
But this guy who was on Silk Road, the Amazon of drugs, it was not just crypto.
Oh, no.
It was crypto being traded for anything, right?
Well, crypto is the currency of evil.
Of criminals, yes.
It is. Crypto is the currency of evil. It's where you can deal in drugs, child pornography, terrorism, everything that's dark. I mean, the reason we haven't had another 9/11 is because after 9/11, we followed the money. We saw how the terrorists were getting paid, where the bank accounts were, who was funneling money. We know that also with Gaza. We know the money that came in for humanitarian aid to build Gaza after the Israelis left in 2006 went into the coffer.
The debate surrounding Donald Trump's pardon of Ross Ulbricht, founder of the Silk Road, revived concerns about the role of cryptocurrency in enabling illicit activity. Commentator Max Brooks criticized the move, arguing that Ulbricht's online marketplace became a hub for illegal transactions. While some see him as a digital pioneer, Brooks warned that platforms like Silk Road show how cryptocurrency can be misused to bypass legal systems. Unlike traditional banks, which are subject to oversight, decentralized currencies offer anonymity, making them attractive to bad actors. From criminal networks to global instability, Brooks pointed to a growing fear. Without regulation, digital currencies could shift power into the hands of a few, allowing wealth and influence to circulate unchecked by law.
Their essential nature and character is what worries me. Essentially, Silicon Valley people are people who 30, 35 years ago showed up, said, we're inventing this fabulous new technology. The whole world's going to be able to talk to each other, instant communication. Doctors in Africa will talk to doctors in New York and look at the X-ray together. It was all idealistic and beautiful, and let's talk. But when you look at the record for the past 30 years, you see
what could possibly go wrong?
Yes, oh my gosh. You see a record of cynical self-dealing. You see, the data comes into the office that children are becoming mentally ill, depression and anxiety on Instagram. And Instagram essentially says, what should we do about that if the problem is the algorithms? Well, I guess we'll make the algorithms even worse to get more of the kids involved. So it's one thing to just insult people who started an industry that is a great industry, but it's another to know their mistakes, flaws, and characterological, I think, problems, and say they're in charge of AI now, and AI is the future and can eat the world. And those are the guys who have invented it, and it's the same cast of characters.
So began as a hopeful dream a tech-powered future has, for many, become a cautionary tale. The early vision of Silicon Valley, connecting people, spreading knowledge, and solving global problems, has been overshadowed by growing concern over the unchecked power of tech giants. Platforms that once promised freedom now face criticism for prioritizing profit over ethics. A major issue is how social media algorithms manipulate user behavior, especially among young people. Rather than focusing on well-being, companies design features to keep users engaged, often at a cost to mental health. Studies show increased screen time links to anxiety and depression, yet tech firms have done little to reform their models. More broadly, the rise of artificial intelligence and data-driven platforms has concentrated power in the hands of a few corporations. These companies influence everything from elections to economic trends, operating largely outside regulatory frameworks. The conversation is no longer just about technology, it's about how much control we're willing to let these companies have over our lives.